Bayou Farewell, The Rich Life and Tragic Death of Louisiana's Cajun Coast, 2003, by journalist Mike Tidwell, explores the ecological history of Louisiana's bayou, examining the impact of human activity during the Anthropocene, the current geological era in which human actions dominate environmental change. The book documents the dramatic environmental losses occurring in Louisiana's Mississippi Delta, a region home to thousands of impoverished Cajun descendants of French expatriates. Tidwell, initially unfamiliar with the bayou, became acquainted with its history after a colleague at the Washington Post recommended the area. His book contributed to U.S. climate discourse, given its focus on the local environment and the depth of its ecological investigation. Tidwell begins by recounting his first visit to the bayou, which was sparked by his fascination with the area as one of the last places in the United States where an independent subculture thrives with minimal interaction with the outside world. The bayou's residents are known for their tough, close-knit communities, centered around a fishing economy that relies on crabbing, shrimping, and oyster harvesting. Many still speak a French-English dialect. To better understand the people, Tidwell brought a tape recorder, conducted interviews, and volunteered as a deckhand during the shrimping season, traveling through towns like Cocodrie, Golden Meadow, and Leeville. He also explored the region's distinctive cuisine. Despite the residents' limited financial resources, Tidwell was struck by their hospitality, even towards strangers like him, people from the north who are often met with suspicion due to the area's history of conflict with outsiders. He also learned about two other minority groups in the bayou, the Vietnamese expatriates and the Houma Indians, who had lived in the region before the Cajuns. As the Cajuns, who had migrated from Canada, settled in the bayou, they displaced the native Houma. After the fall of Saigon in 1975, the Vietnamese joined the region, adding to the competition for resources. Tidwell then shifts focus to the environmental degradation that now threatens the bayou's existence. The residents of the Delta face not only the loss of crucial resources, but also the encroachment of rising floodwaters, which are literally engulfing the land they've called home for over 3 centuries. The 3 million acres of Louisiana on which they live are gradually being absorbed into the Gulf of Mexico. Tidwell witnesses the extent of this impact firsthand in several instances. On his first trip to the bayou, he encounters a cemetery with headstones barely visible above the water. Locals explain that, just 10 years earlier, the graveyard had been fully above ground. He also notices numerous old Christmas trees repurposed as breakwaters, sourced from neighboring states. Tidwell supports his ecological observations with government and private research, documenting the dramatic loss of Louisiana's landmass. Some sources predict a staggering economic toll for the United States if efforts are made to restore the damage. Each day, about 25 acres are lost, equivalent to the size of Manhattan each week. Tidwell stresses that these losses are not natural, but are instead the result of industrial activity, particularly by the oil and gas industries. Thousands of miles of pipelines laid throughout the bayou have caused land erosion, allowing silt and other debris to wash through the artificial channels into the sea, where they lead to offshore fossil fuel extraction. Another factor is the Corps of Engineers' decision in 1927 to build levees along the Mississippi River to prevent flooding. This action halted the natural flow of sediment from upstream, which once reinforced the bayou's land. Despite the grim reality, Tidwell ends his book on a hopeful note, suggesting that, like most environmental challenges, this one is solvable with dedication and innovation. Drawing on a range of sources, including expert reports and first-hand experience, he proposes a plan to build a massive channel to divert Mississippi River water into the marshlands, helping to restore the bayou. He argues that it is the responsibility of the U.S. government, driven by the will of its citizens, to initiate such a project. Tidwell ultimately frames the environmental crisis as a public issue, urging his readers to acknowledge the problem and take action to address it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.